It's often been said that first impressions are by far the most important. While that might be true, I would argue that we try to impress all the time. I want to hear about those that didn't go so well. Was it a job interview that you botched? Was it, I don't know, a speaking engagement? Was it singing? Could have been just about anything. We're going to hear about those right after this. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Video Calling Show, that show that invites you to be a live guest on this program. Talk about anything you want to talk about, whether that's the topic of the day, current events, personal promotion, or just to chew the fat with your good old buddy here. Now, joining is real easy. All you've got to do is, and I've got to turn the unlock on. All you've got to do is point your browser to zoom.us, click on join a meeting, enter in that meeting ID number when it asks for it. You will show up in my green room and I will bring you up. First come, first serve. As time allows. Again, my name is Jim. I am your host of the Video Calling Show, and I will be here for about the next hour. My job, to listen and learn to and about you. Now, tonight's topic was brought to us by Outdoorsy Gal O. Yes, that is Outdoorsy Gal O. That is Chrissy over there. And she does a wonderful job of outdoors. She's a Canadian. She's from up north. She does a wonderful job of highlighting her adventures outdoors, whether it be fishing, hunting, metal detecting, you name it. Oh, and cooking. There's great cooking tips as well. So thank you, Chrissy, for suggesting this topic. If you'd like to suggest a topic to the show, by all means, there is my email address is at the bottom of the screen. Throw me something and let me know what you'd like to talk about or like to hear others talk about. If this, by the way, is a show that trips your trigger, why, feel free to follow, to like, to subscribe. That is one of those things that helps out the channel, no question. And if you can, share my videos, share the stream, let more people know. The more people we get on here, the better. And it is by far one of the best ways to show a show. And if you want to show a show, kindness, then by all means, share that content and expose it to more people. It is always appreciated. How is everybody this evening? Let's go over to some of the folks we have, at least in the YouTube chat, and we'll look at the other streams as well. I'm actually streaming on 4 different platforms tonight. We've got, of course, YouTube. For those of you who have YouTube accounts, you're watching this on the other platforms, if you don't mind, swing on over to YouTube. You will see all of the shows in their entirety, and you will see all of the guest cuts. What happens is when I have a guest on that tells us their story, I will cut that out as a highlight. I call it the guest cut, and I publish those as well. So jump on over there. Who do we have in here so thus far? We've got Jesse Mendez. How are you? Yes, there is plenty of people in here, Jesse. I know that's an old message. Easton Music Ministry. How are you, Easton? Good to see you, my friend. And there's Chrissy Outdoor Gallo. She must be away for a bit. That's okay. She'll be back. Crap, my dad makes me watch. How are you, Adam? Good to see you, my friend. And Luke Duke. Good to see you as well, my fellow Hoosier. Always a pleasure to have you here, as well as Paul Michael DB. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Yes, funny you said that. I've had a headache all day long. And of course, Adam, you might have to come on to say that, but I love that because, sometimes I feel the same way. But now, like I said in the open, the idea here is that we try to impress all the time. It's part of what we do on a normal, regular basis, because we want to be thought of as, as an individual that has something of value to offer. And we often overplay that. I get it. But I want to hear about those stories where it didn't go so well, like Like I said, your first meeting with someone could be a date that just fell flat. Maybe you tried stand up comedy, and that didn't go over so well. I mean, they're all efforts to impress, and the only way, and by any measure, you're going to find them either a success or a failure. I call it sadomasochistic, but I want to hear about the failures. At least this was what Chrissy had in mind when she suggested it. And I thought it was a great subject because I too am not infallible. I have tried to impress, often with less than optimal results. I'll never forget the first one. At last night's show, we had a show on about your earliest childhood memory. Well, if I had to encapsulate one of my earlier childhood memories, it wasn't the first, of course, because I already told you what that was. And if you didn't hear it, you'll have to watch the show. And if I ever think enough to do cards, why you'll see that pop up over there. But anyway, this particular childhood memory was one that I tried to impress, and it just fell flat. And kind of, and I don't even know if you could actually call this impress, right? I'd known this gal for a good long time. And we were good friends. And we were very young. Oh, I wish I could remember how young we were, but I know grade school would have covered it, and pre-high school. And I just on a whim um, decided to get her something, and I asked her to go with me. Her response, where? Yes, that's right. And I don't know if she just didn't get it, or she was blowing me off. At any rate, I was crushed. I tried to impress. I did not. It did not go well. And those are the things that I'm looking at for subject matter on this particular evening. There's Outdoorsy Gal. Oh, how you doing, Chrissy? Have been issues with YouTube and the free audio music that I usually use. Trying to add it to upload a video for a couple days to no avail. Frustrating. I get it. I get it, Chrissy. Absolutely. Hey, Darwin, Drone Kings in Darwin. There's Brad. How you doing, Brad? They're having a discussion about YouTube. Well, I tell you what. Rather than just tell you about all my failures. Yeah, I know that, and there's some of the other ones that I've thought of. And the ones I actually thought of are ones that I would say a lot of them are ones that I literally failed to impress, lived to tell about it, but failed to impress. All right, I tell you what. Rather than beat around the bush, I've got one guest in the queue, so you guys better get in there quickly. Otherwise, it will be a short show. And we don't want a short show. Wendell Live, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Welcome to the show again. Listen, I'm just gonna bring up my first guest. All right. Why not? Why not? Can you hear me, my friend? We'll give him a second to mute the YouTube video. Hey, how you doing, Easton?
I'm good. How are you? And by the way, what you said about a short show, if I'm the only one in the queue, that may not be the case. I'm
well,
kidding.
we know how you operate, man, but
yeah. If somebody else joins, I'll be respectful, and yeah.
Okay, I'll let you know. So, what's new since last night?
Well, I'm not trying to murder my computer anymore.
That's a good thing.
That's what the extra light's coming from. It's actually making it a lot better than it was last night.
Yeah, you were awfully dark last night, and of course that really bright light behind you doesn't help at all.
Oh no, it doesn't.
I should have turned that off. But... Pro production tip for you folks: strong lights up front, one on either side, and if you have one above, make it a little bit muted, and you will come off of the background more. That wasn't directed at you, Easton. That was just general, advice for those of us who will live stream and so forth. Now you look like you're outside.
I just turned out the light with this random thing that I don't know what it's called. Something where I can put my shoes on for choir without breaking the back of my shoe.
Oh, nice.
So
All right. So,
It's always
what
nice.
brings you to the show now? You're going to tell us about times that you've tried to impress and it didn't go so well. Of course, you can't
Oh
use your 4-year-old church story.
yeah. Oh yeah, I have plenty of them. Just which ones do I want to share? Because I tried. I'm just my personality. I always try to show off. That's just kind of who I am.
Hmm.
Um, so like no matter who's around, I'm always trying to show off over something, or exaggerate something to show off. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I grossed some friends out. Actually, no, I'm not going to go there. That one's kind of a pitiful story. Never mind.
Well, I'm going to ask now. I got to go ask the question. If you were you grossed them out, were you trying to impress them in some way, and it turned out gross, or you were trying to impress them with grossness?
I was trying to. I was making up. I went to my friend's farm one time, and I was trying to take a story from the farm and escalate it way beyond where it should have gone.
Mm-hmm.
Not thinking about it, so it turned out to at the end it sounded very disgusting.
Yes.
Even though it didn't. Yeah.
Oh, and that is
But,
so common when something comes out wrong. I've got a great
oh yeah.
story. I've got a great story there that
Oh, so do I.
I still to this day I cringe. But go ahead. I'm going to allow you to go, and then maybe I'll sneak mine in there somewhere.
Well, there's this one time that see I went. This is like an example of so there's somebody who I went to see a Christian comedian a couple weeks ago, and one of his things he's at the end of a joke he's like, well, that was a lot more racist than I intended it to be because he was just spewing things out, not thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing the same thing 2 weeks ago and not thinking about it, and by the end of that, I was like, well, that was a lot more inappropriate than I intended it to be.
We all have those moments. We all have
Oh
those
yeah.
moments. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, cause see, I have a friend who's like, so they play in, they play percussion in band,
Mm-hmm.
and they won't shut up about drums. Like, I like drums, okay, but they're just like constantly. I'm always talking about random crap like music or something like that that nobody else cares about, and then this person's over here just talking about snare drums, toms, kicks, floor. Uh, just went brain dead. Forgot what they're called. The bass
What?
drums.
Oh, kick drum. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Kick drum
drum.
or
Just
there's
all
a
these
floor
different
tom.
things.
There's
Like,
a floor tom as well. What I
yeah.
really like about drums are picking out cymbals. That's one of my favorite parts because there's all kinds of variety. See what I did there? But drums are the best instrument in any band. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but my friend just won't shut up about freaking drums, and it's not even a drum kit. They don't play a drum kit. They play individual drums, and
I
it's either
hate when people do that. Have you seen my drums, by the way?
yeah. I've seen both kits. They're really cool.
Yeah, one of these days I'll do a little tour of them.
That would be awesome.
I've got timbales right here, as a matter of fact. Oh,
Cool.
you can't see them on the wide shot. You can see just a hair of it. Yes, but I love drums. So my biggest part is never being able to choose the right sticks. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I can't resist. You brought that up, and now I want to be that guy.
Yeah. I was trying to make a joke because like, dog, can you go lay down?
And that wasn't the joke, folks.
But no, that was no, never mind. I don't remember where I was going with that. Anyway, so like they won't shut up about drums, and I was like, yeah, you're just that person who's walking down the hallway. He's like, oh look, I was like, and you're just that person who's walking down the hallway. He's like, oh look at that person's snare drum, and it sounded a lot more inappropriate than it was intended to be at the time.
Nice.
I was like, oops.
I actually have drums of all colors. I'm going to keep going with this. You had to bring up. Go ahead.
I'm gonna come on in a week, and you're just like, yeah, I got this cocktail drum kit that I built whenever I can stand up, so I can stand up. Yep, I know.
Oh yeah, helps me back. Yeah, and I actually I changed cymbals between the two kits. I've got actually a full set of cymbals for each one, but I swap them up. Did you know I like to build snares?
Huh?
Did you know I like to build snare drums? I bet you didn't know
You
that.
and my friend would get along so well.
Oh, yeah, but he wouldn't. I don't know if he'd be on the joke, would he?
I don't know.
Because,
Probably offended.
well, I'm doing this for fun, but most people that do that, most people that are obsessed and they just talk about the same thing all the time, are rarely aware that they do it at all. You know,
Oh yeah.
so
See, I do the same thing when I get scared about something. I won't shut up about it.
yeah.
Like
Well,
if
see,
I'm
you're
scared
aware of
about a
it,
math test, huh?
but you're aware of it.
You see, yeah. Whenever I wasn't aware about that till a couple weeks ago. I wouldn't shut up about a math test, and somebody was like, "Bro, we know you have a math test. We're done hearing about it." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay,"
Then the light went on.
but yeah, it's because I wouldn't shut up about it. I was just like, I'm so scared about this math test for 4 days straight, and then it was funny because I wasn't paying attention, and my friend was just like, I have this one annoying friend who just won't stop talking about the same thing. I just don't know how to end our friendship, and just say that they're annoying and all that. And I was like, just ask them to stop and all that. Basically, I'm giving them tips on how to end our own friendship, not thinking.
Nice.
I didn't realize until the next day. I was like, wait a minute, that was about me.
Oh,
Oops.
yeah. That goes back to the old adage. If you get together in the neighborhood and you don't hear about the weird neighbors, it's probably you. If nobody's talking to you about the weird neighbors, you're probably the weird neighbor.
Oh crap.
Well, there's a tactful way because I run into that all the time, and there, my philosophy is you've just got to be well, not tactical, but tactful in giving them a hint that that's a problem. You know. Well, for instance, people that say all the time, and there are a bunch of those, and it drives me nuts. I used to have that habit. I don't anymore. Uh, now I've done it again. But I'll let people know. It's like you've said that a bunch of times, like after every sentence, and until they're aware of it, they're not going to be able to make any changes. So I kind of try to help them become aware of it as, like I said, as tactfully as I can, because sometimes that can backfire. You know.
Yeah, I've seen people who like the word like.
Oh my
It's like they
lord.
turned into California stuttering people. It's just like, hey, like. Have you seen this computer like? Blah, blah, blah. I don't even know. I'm just spewing out random words now. I just saw a computer. That's why I said computer. I don't
Oh well,
know.
that's okay. No, you're
Like,
dead on.
have you heard of Jim's show, the video, like call-in show? Those people are annoying.
He like
And if you're in the chat, if you're in the chat and you're like that, you're not the annoying person that I'm talking about. But like,
well, that's another thing. Most people aren't even aware that they're doing that, right?
yeah,
That's the colloquialism of today. Because we had them too, and it wasn't like I don't remember what it was, honestly. But
I don't think that came about until social media.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of mans. It's like, hey man,
Mm.
man, I tell you what, man. I mean, it probably wasn't as you know, it wasn't thrown into just like every sentence 3 or 4 times, but some people did. I
Yeah, see, I offended somebody in a live stream one time that I was doing. I don't even remember what it was, like months ago. But I was like, hey man, hey guys, all that kind of stuff, because that's just what I've always said.
Mhm.
And somebody came in there, and I could not tell from their username what their gender was. So I was like, hey man, and I was like, excuse me. I was like, oopsie. But what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, leave the man out. Just hey. That's what I do.
Yeah,
Hey or hello or howdy is usually how
yeah,
I say hi in chats. Sometimes hi. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, I try to leave it out as much as possible. I'm just like, hey, how's it going?
yeah. I've learned to do that too.
Yeah.
I've tried to stop doing that because they didn't really get like extremely offended. Like they didn't go all out and start throwing tomatoes at me. But it was like, excuse me, don't do that. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's hard to tell, right? If their
Yeah,
if their icon is somewhat, generic, if their username is generic, then yeah, I mean, how are you going to know? Like
yeah,
Patty Broussard, how you doing? New Orleans girl, how you doing? Those are two that are obviously gals. American Gold Prospectors. There's a name that you wouldn't know whether or not it's male or female. But welcome to the show. And I am integrating this. This is a perfect
You're just
segue. So
going
I
through
can.
the chat. Well, guess what? If I never knew you before this, I wouldn't know if you were a dude or a dudette. So there you go, people.
Yeah, and the same way with my show. I mean, unless you see me, my stupid mug in my icon, you wouldn't know whether or not I was a dude or a gal. So, hey, Crimson Whispers, how you doing? see how I'm working this in. I'm literally double dipping here. Oh man. Oh, so let me tell you, since we don't have any more guests, guys, you guys can jump in at any time and tell about your failures, and we're bound to cover the gamut here if if you don't jump. What I was going to say was what was that failure to impress that I had? Oh. Yes, I was actually I was the internet services manager for a local Fox television station here in Indianapolis, and I was sent to Chicago to meet with the internet producers group of Tribune Broadcasting, which owned the station at the time. And I'll never forget the general manager, and we were all having like a meet and greet, and and I didn't know who it was, but I knew he was somebody important. And he asked me, he says, how's the hotel? Oh, I said, oh, it's great, except that I got to look at the other side of the building. And man, the conversation stopped right there. I don't even know why I said it. It's kind of an asshole thing to say, but it's like, why did you even say that, you idiot? So needless to say, he didn't talk to me the rest of the weekend. And I'm like, damn it. Because we were so far ahead. Well, now I'm going to go off on a tangent about how far ahead we were in that time period as far as the other stations that they own. But that would be tooting my own horn. And as much as I like to do that, I'm not going to do that right now.
Oh, I hate doing that. Like, it's something like sure, I'll toot my own horn every once in a while. Like, hey, look what I did. I'll do it without thinking about it. But whenever I'm thinking about it, I don't like doing it. Like, there's some scenarios where I like doing it. It's like, yeah, I did this over the weekend. It looked so cool, just to brag, trying to show off.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's sometimes where I'm just like, I don't want to do this.
Well, that's a good example of trying to impress and failing, right? Because when you go in with the brag guns out, and people don't want to hear it, because you're going in with the intent to impress. If they don't want to hear it, you ain't impressing.
Yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and tell the story. So,
sure, why
our
not?
FFA group came in a couple days ago. I guess it was Wednesday. I don't know. No, it is Wednesday. It was yesterday.
Yeah, it's Wednesday now.
I can't talk, or I can't think. But
You're doing fine.
Anyway, they came in and they were just they got us out of PE for a day, which was a score.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about how to use chainsaws and Kubota RTVs and all this kind of stuff. And there's this guy in a tree stand, and I don't know why I said this. It was the first thing that came to mind. I don't think before I speak, because usually whatever I say is not bad. Like 9 out of 10 times, it's actually either really funny or really stupid, but it's not bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to worry about it. And if it is bad-ish, it's like the snare drum comment. That's pretty much the worst that it's ever gotten. But it was funny because I'm sorry if I laugh. It's just because of the stupidity of this whole deal. But he was just like, I hate horses because they smell, they look ugly. And I was like, well, that doesn't bother me. Because I went to my friend's farm one time. This was so stupid. It is the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life. It made my friend so mad. I was like, I stepped in cow crap and got stuck. which is not true. And I just spewed it off, not thinking. And the look I got after that was interesting.
I can imagine.
He was just like, okay.
Okay. Thanks for sharing, Easton.
I don't know why I find that so funny. kind of like this video I found on Facebook today. It's literally just like this yoga class, and it's like, now breathe out, or breathe in, and let all the sounds trapped in your head be released. And it's the Grinch. I laughed at this for so long, and it's so stupid. He was just. Why am I laughing right now?
I don't know.
Screaming. He was screaming while putting his arms down because he was releasing the sound trapped in his head. And the lady's like, "Sir, are you okay?" He's like, "I'm a little messed up." I was like, "What?" I usually don't laugh over crap like that, and that one was just like, "Oh my gosh." For one, who would waste their time to produce that video? And two,
anymore?
why?
Yeah. Anymore? I'm just I can't even answer that question. I've seen so many that it's like, how did I get here? Why did I click on it? And why did I go ahead and watch it? Much less, why did you produce it? Yeah, I'm not surprised much anymore, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of how I felt whenever I first clicked on this one YouTube channel. What's it called? The videocallin show. Yeah, it's kind of what I felt.
Oh,
Why is he even producing this
that
kind of stuff,
dude,
man?
yeah. I don't know. I've been scratching my head about that guy forever. Or at least for the last 9 months. Oh, who would have come up with something like that? Jeez. Now I may have to cut that out as its own clip. Hey Lloyd, how you doing? Grumpy Vloggers in the house. How you doing, buddy? Always good to see you. Well, that was kind of a plug. Thanks. A backhanded plug. Oh, now I need a graphic for that. And now a backhanded plug from Easton. Oh man. Well, we're half past, Easton. You don't. I don't have to tie you up all evening. Yes, I don't have anyone else up just now.
I have 4 more minutes, and then I'll have to go to bed. So I can stay on here for 4 more minutes just to annoy you and your audience, and then I probably got to go. But
that's quite all right. That's quite all right. I'm sure we'll find something to converse about. Excuse me. Good to hear. Good to hear you. Good, Grumpy.
Yeah, I was going as you're pulling me up. I was just scrolling through my computer, just deleting like documents from Microsoft's crap.
Mm-hmm.
And there is so many things in here that have so much, are taking up so much space. Because like when I was little, I used to, go to my grandpa's and get on the computer, and there is so much random crap on there that I don't know what it is.
Well,
because like I always, like I think I talked about it last time. I don't really remember what I talked about because I've slept since then.
Yeah.
But it's just like I've always gone from like I'm focused on one thing. Like I'm obsessed with fishing, and I'm not going to focus on anything else. Christian, why are you sniffing my head? That is weird. Go lay down.
That's his dog, folks.
But I'll focus on music or like lately it's been music or fishing or hunting or whatever it is. I won't focus on anything else, and I won't talk about anything else.
So not drums? Did I tell you that I still have the brain from my first electronic kit? And I used to set it up next to my hi-hat, and I would actually use that for sound effects. Did I tell you that? I didn't tell you that, did I? It's the greatest thing ever.
Thanks, Jim.
I told you, I gotta be that guy now.
Oh yeah, that's probably gonna be the rest of this time that I'm on this channel. It's gonna be like, hey, did you hear about this new hi-hat that I got from the store back in like the 80s?
No, I don't have that. I don't have that. That's actually a pretty good idea, Luke Duke. Since this show failed to impress. Kidding. You're on, and that's enough for me. I did want to say that pro tip: if you've got a computer that's kind of running slow and there's a bunch of crap on there, you don't know what it is.
This one right here.
Yeah, download Crap Cleaner. They've got a free version that will clean up a bunch of like Windows updates, temporary files that don't get deleted, that sort of thing. It will free up some space on your hard drive and clean up your registry as well. Not sponsored.
What is it?
Crap. It's Crap Cleaner. If you do a search for crap, I
Okay.
know it sounds weird, but if they've been out forever, I've used them forever. But I had the paid version for a while, but then I got away from it. Um,
Yeah.
the paid version is fantastic. It'll even let you go deeper than that. But yeah, crap cleaner. Just do a search on it, you'll find it.
I
Again,
don't know why I'm laughing.
not
I'm so
sponsored.
tired.
Well, we had to go down. We had to say crap or something during the show. I've already let the a-hole slip, so where can we go now but up?
Yeah, I promise you, I'm not usually this way. I'm just so freaking tired that I'm just like, I have the sense of humor of a kindergartner right now. So,
Oh man, that's called slap happy in my day.
yeah,
That was literally called
yeah.
slap happy. Grumpy Vlogger wants to know what? Oh, ear monitors. It's the Shure 99s, I believe, but they're conforming, and they fit real nice in there. They're about $100 a pair, if that helps you narrow down. It's been I've had them for years, and if that helps you narrow them down, Lloyd, then there you go. Hey, Gana, how you doing?
I thought you were. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was talking to Lloyd in the chat. I'm not you.
Yeah, I thought you were
I
talking
need a
about
crap
computer monitors there for a second. I was like, oh, I'm interested. And then it's hearing aids. I was like,
Well, you'd be unimpressed. This one in front of me is some Chinesium Eyoyo. I mean, it's literally like Eyoyo. And it's just a little 7-inch monitor that I've got sitting up on my teleprompter, so I can see you guys. I use that mirror so I can literally look at you as I'm talking to you. You'd be amazed at how difficult that is to do, to stare at the camera when somebody's talking to you down like lower left or whatever. My other monitors, one is actually just
doing it right now. I got a camera right here, and you're right here, so that's why my face is off.
Oh well, yeah. See, that's the same thing. But if you do this
Yeah.
all the time, you'd want to make it a little easier.
Yeah.
As far as the other ones, they're just they're relatively generic monitors. I've got them sitting in a vertical portrait mode, and then of course the monitor on my PC.
My dream computer setup is to get something that's better than that hunk of junk right there. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I smacked it, and the whole thing went dead silent.
Oh, wah wah! Don't do that.
It's
Do not
back
do
now.
that.
Okay. Hey, the monitor didn't go dead. That's a start. I thought the computer was off earlier and hit the power button. The computer was on, so I gave it a nice cold kill right there.
Ah yes.
That was always nice. But yeah, my goal is, if I get everything I want, is to at least have the monitor that I have now, which is like huge,
Mm-hmm.
and then have 2 vertical monitors that I hang on the wall. But in a perfect world where I can have more crap than I really need,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have 3 monitors and 2 vertical monitors with a MacBook Pro hooked up as a digital mixer.
There you go.
Right. What is it called? MacBook? Is it MacBook Pro?
Yeah,
What is it called
MacBook Pro, I believe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's in a perfect world where I own more crap than I really need, which is already now, but
yeah, and that doesn't go anywhere. I mean, that literally stays with you forever. Because unless you're one of those folks, living in a van, minimalist and all that sort of thing, that will
those
be.
people are boring.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I don't know that I could get by with as few material possessions as I do, because I have so many things that I enjoy. There's so many things I like to do. I mean,
How
there's.
many drum kits could you fit in a little
I
van
know.
like that? Good grief.
That's a great example. Did you know how many drum kits I've got? No. But that's a great example, because I'd be done playing drums. There's absolutely no way I could travel with kitted drums, even if it was one of the most smallest electric. It'd be almost impossible to store that. And then also, all my hunting gear, all my shop equipment. I've got tools at the yin yang that I would hate to.
I can relate to all 3 of those with hunting gear,
Mm-hmm.
instruments, not necessarily drum kits, because my dad doesn't want me to have a drum kit. Sad day. But and then fishing and hunting and workshop stuff and all that stuff. Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, my hat's off to them, because they've decided to, dispel with all those material things, but or
How much
store 'em.
money they have to have and not having a addiction to buying random crap that they don't need.
Well, when you're on a budget, that becomes much less of a priority, right? And suddenly it's food and gas, and I can do without that, that next game Right?
Yeah.
What was? Oh, we're getting close to your bedtime. Listen, have we done a deep dive?
What is a deep dive?
What is a deep dive? Oh man. Oh man. Well, do you wanna give it a shot? Just say yes.
Sure.
All right, let's let's. I haven't done one of these in a long time, so this may be a little rusty, but let's do the deep dive. Or let me click on stuff and see if I can get it to go.
Deep dive.
There we go. Now, Easton, here's how the deep dive works. In my grubby little hands, I have 5 questions chosen just for you. The idea is we get to learn more about you than Christian's mother's owner's cousin. All right. Are you now? There are no wrong answers, only bad questions. Are you ready to give this a go?
Sure.
Sweet. Well, move it.
Question 1.
All right, Easton. What do you prefer to do? Work hard or play hard?
I don't know. Depends on the day.
Well, one or the other. More often than not.
Usually work hard on
Oh.
something that is probably a waste of my time.
An industrious young man. I love that. Well done. See, I told you. You're doing great already, and these are not hard questions. Let's move on to question 2, shall we?
Question 2.
I'm surprised you didn't know about this, honestly.
I've heard of it, but I had no clue what it was.
Oh, you're kidding. You're kidding. All right. Some of these you're too young for. I can't ask you driver or passenger. That's the first question that came up. So the monkeys.
Definitely driver, even though I can't drive yet. I can drive in a field, but
Oh, no. You can't be answering questions I haven't asked. Let's see. Meat or vegetables?
oh, meat, definitely. Have you
Meat?
not seen the size
Oh.
of me?
Holy cow. Meat it is, yes. See, you're already 2 for 2. This is not hard. I've had some people really concentrate on the answer like they're going to get it wrong. So this is how it's done, man. You ready for question 3?
Sure.
Question 3.
Oh man, what do you prefer, Easton? Board games or card games?
Card games.
Oh, no. We were looking for board games. Oh, so close. Like we would know and you wouldn't. But that was a good try at that answer. Moving on to question 4.
Question 4.
I'm trying to rush through these because I know you're on a time crunch right now. When sleeping, do you prefer to have a fan on or no fan?
Oh, definitely a fan on. I've got to be cold. If this room's not cold, which it's not cold right now because I turned off the fan on accident, I'm miserable.
You got to give you that. Most people, I bet there's researchers out there, but most people like to hear something that helps them go to sleep, even if it's just a fan for noise. So good.
Oh,
Good job.
the fan, I have it on, but I turn on Netflix. I can't sleep in silence. I have to have music on, or preferably Netflix, because Netflix always puts me to sleep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm with you there. I fall asleep to YouTube and other videos. All right. Final
So do
question.
I.
You ready for the final question?
Yes.
Sweet. Let's do this.
Final question.
All right,
Did you
Easton.
record those vocals?
I did.
Oh, gosh.
I absolutely did. All right, Easton. Your favorite of the 2 instruments, guitar or piano?
Oh, no. You didn't just ask that. Oh, no.
Yes, I did. If you had to choose only one, what would it be? You're on a deserted island, say.
Huh?
You're on a deserted island. What would you choose?
Deserted Island, definitely guitar, because that's like camp.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We were looking for drums. You had to know that was coming.
Honestly, honestly, I didn't see that coming, but
well.
I really should have.
I'm glad I could bring us all the way around. But you did great. You got 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5. That's actually a good average. And if I could get my audience to clap, I would.
Final question.
Nope, that's not what I was looking for. My audience button isn't working because I lost all my settings. But hey, we're all clapping inside for you, Easton. You did great, man. See, I told you it wasn't tough. Sorry, that answer was a target.
I think my parents just woke or just got up, so I probably should. Oh, there went my light.
It's okay.
I should probably get off here.
All right, Easton. Hey, man, thanks for coming on tonight. I appreciate it. And
thanks for having me.
We'll talk to you next time, bud.
All right, have a great evening.
You too. Oh man, that was the first one I've done in a long time, as you can tell. And people are answering them again. I'm going to do that more often because it is a lot of fun. I just have to prepare more. I got to kick these monkeys every night, and man, I can't tell you the expense of feeding these guys. So, if you want to support the channel, by all means. I mean, there's several ways to do it. There's Subscribe Star. There's merch. How was that for a shameless plug? All right, we don't have anybody else in the wings, and I know I normally go for an hour, but we're at 10:41. That's cool. I am going to shut this one down for tonight. Listen, guys, don't forget or don't miss tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're going to go over the news stories, current events. This is a new series I'm trying out here. Who knows if we'll hang out with it forever and ever, but I'm curious to see how that works. If you guys know of any news stories that you'd like to talk about, I'll have a few in the wings that we will discuss. Let's do it. Let's see how that works out. But for now, I'm going to call it a night. I want to say hello to who is it that I saw come in? Oh, I've already said hello to American Gold Prospectors Bay. Welcome back to the show. But tonight, listen, I am going to call it a night. It's late. We have no more guests. And thank you. Thank you, Lloyd. I appreciate that. Remember, if you're watching this on another platform other than YouTube, or you've got, I got to kill these things. See, this is the trouble when you lose your setup. Then, and after this is processed, and this is a really tough ending here. But thank you, Lloyd. But if you're listening to this or watching this show after it's been processed or on another platform, make sure you follow or subscribe or share. Always appreciated. But more importantly, make sure that you treat others the way you want to be treated. If we all did that, this world would be a fantastic place. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you live.